We're getting a recap for you from today's proceedings at the Parliamentary Committee's probe into Thabo Bester's escape from the Mangaung prison. Let's go to senior reporter Aviwe Mtila, who's been covering these proceedings for us. So, Aviwe, what has been happening in Parliament so far today? I know that Justice Cameron has been on the grilling seat today.
Yes, it's Justice, retired Justice Cameron on the hot seat, of course, representing the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services. Of course, they are the watchdog on the wrongs and rights that happen, of course, in these correctional facilities. He says they were alerted of this on the 5th of May. That's, of course, 2 days after that elaborate escape by Bester. But they came to the conclusion that, in fact, Bester had escaped after they received the post-mortem accompanied by it was the post-mortem, in fact, and the DNA, I beg your pardon, that accompanied that on the 10th of August. So already last year, they knew that that wasn't Bester that had died. In fact, Bester had escaped, but they were told to keep this mum. Of course, that coming from the SAPS. And they suggest that they tried to raise the alarm, even to the Minister of Correctional Services. That's in an email on the 26th of October. They the ones, in fact, they blew the whistle to Ground Up, who, of course, unearthed all this investigation. Justice Cameron saying that he's behind that, given the relationship that he has with the editor of Ground Up. And, of course, that's how we came to know of this. But we do know that, in fact, numerous attempts to even alert the Correctional Services Minister once more in February, alongside the Deputy Minister, were unsuccessful. But they say that not only them, it's G4S, that, of course, the rot where this all happened. And it was tried to unearth by Justice Cameron alongside with the JICPS. In fact, let's take a listen to some of what was said inside here and how they tried to raise the alarm.
So we now jump a month into the future to the 9th of March this year. Were there any other interactions with DCS? Here you again warn of Bester being alive and well and dangerous. Why was this warning made on the 9th of March again?
So, I think this committee yesterday expressed the sense of peril and outrage which is appropriate to this matter, and we weren't seeing evidence of it. I'm not saying that the Commissioner or either the National Commissioner of Police or the National Commissioner of Corrections or any of the executive officials in government, I'm not saying they didn't feel that urgency, but it wasn't being evidenced to us. So it was an attempt to om vuur onder hulle agterwêrelde te maak, to put a fire into the responses.
Then I just want to know, in all the meetings that you had with G4S throughout this episode, at what stage did you tell them that the body they recovered that was recovered from C35 was in fact not the body of Bester? I know the original, they said that officially they were informed, but I want to know the first time that they were told in a meeting.
They knew long beforehand, as your question implies, Honourable Mr. Engelbrecht, long before, but were closing their eyes to it.
So what have been some of the comments made by MPs, Aviwe, regarding the status of Thabo Bester's stay in Mangaung prison?
A very dangerous and powerful man. Some of the insights, Maseko, that we heard, yeah. Of course, some of that's already out in the public. You knew how powerful he was by, of course, hosting that elaborate event that took place in Sandton with some A-listers when it comes to celebrities, and even some politicians that went to that event, singing happy birthday to him as he pretended to be Tom Motsepe, all the way in New York. As they sang happy birthday to him, but it was actually on the confines of a cell. wearing a suit. That alone should tell you the power that he yielded, continuing with some of these frauds and the allegations that surround him within there. But of course, Justice Cameron, in fact, was asked there that did he know about the power that he yielded, and in answering that, he suggested that the G4S employees and some of the DCS employees, of course, gave immediate answers to the power that he yielded, and it was a definite yes. He had a lot of power inside there. In fact, let's take a listen to some of that.
It was alleged that one of the inmates or some of the inmates would have made mention that Thabo Bester was equally dealing inside the center, selling stuff. There's where I read as well that on the actual day of the incident, he had a lot of money on top of his bed, whilst he's having his laptop and so forth and so on. Do you perhaps think what officials were smuggling in, it has a link with Thabo Bester, or their dealings are linked, or they were dealing together in that sense?
We know from our meeting with the on-the-ground G4S personnel in Bloemfontein on the same day that we met SAPS, the last question I asked them right at the end of our meeting was Thabo Bester a powerful figure in this facility? And they both said instantly yes, the two officials present. And the one official afterwards indicated to us that Thabo Bester had made enormous amounts of money while inside. And that's why I think that the question put to G4S yesterday about the video appearance at the Sandton Convention Centre in 2018 was so significant.
All right, senior reporter Aviwe Mtila live for us in Cape Town. Let's leave it there for now.